What is up, Los Angeles, and welcome back to your Rams LAFB Show. I am your host, Ryan Anderson. Today we are talking about the coaching news that came down today. It's not about who's leaving, but it's about who is staying and who might be joining this coaching staff. First off, let's talk about Nate Scheelhaase. Nate Scheelhaase has become a major part of the Rams offense. Last year, he had an opportunity to join a couple of different teams and decided to stay with the Rams, and that is the case this season as well. He had a couple of interviews for some head coaching opportunities, both of which he's moved on from, and the teams have found head coaches. So officially, those are off the table for him, and he is officially coming back once again. I had a chance to talk to Coach McVay ahead of the season, asking him about Nate Scheelhaase. He says he is a stud. He will be involved in all parts of the game plan. He also said the great ones redefine what the job is because they do a little bit more and they're a little bit more intrinsically motivated. I think this is a special coach. He is a rising star without a doubt. He also said, we've been really fortunate to have Nate. He's a great coach, a rare communicator, incredibly sharp. His perspective is big picture. He makes everyone around him better. Now, obviously, coming from a guy like Sean McVay, that praise is very high. There's no doubt why he got the opportunities to interview at those high-level coaching positions like he did over there in the NFC North. But he will continue to stay with this team. And one of the interesting things about that is what is going to happen with Mike LaFleur. Mike LaFleur has had his second interview with the Arizona Cardinals, one of two jobs that have yet to be filled. Obviously, they've shown a bit of an interest in him. So, well, if LaFleur ends up leaving, Scheelhaase is an obvious successor to take on the offensive coordinator position, if so they choose, which it seems like that is what they're setting him up to do. So that is good news that they're keeping some continuity in the building. Obviously, that's always been tough for this staff. Now, perhaps the bigger news is what's happening over there on the special teams, which is a hotly contested talking point for Rams fans right now. Obviously, there was a Xavier Smith muffed punt that allowed the Seattle Seahawks to put some points on the board. Obviously, there was the big change that happened with Chase Blackburn being dismissed partway through the season, a first of its kind. And now it seems like the search continues for other guys to fill that role. Now, what do we know about Ventrone? He was a undrafted linebacker. He got picked up by the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick had some glowing things to say about him as a football player. So go check that. That's actually out over on his Wikipedia page. Kind of interesting things to note just in terms of that translating, that being a good football player into a good coach. Belichick says he is a smart football player. He puts his heart and soul into every time he steps onto the field, no matter it's the regular season, postseason game, or a walkthrough. He has that same intensity and that same level of competitiveness on every single play. Now, I bring that up because that sounds exactly like what you want from a special teamer and what a special team coach needs to understand. Everything about special teams comes down to effort, and he knows this, and he says all the right things. All of the right quotes about him are out there, and in what Tom Pelissero put out in the tweet is he's one of the most respected guys at his position across the league. So that's what's out there. Ventrone himself says ultimately special teams comes down to just execution. You have to be able to execute when the bullets are flying. We are playing with the best guys available, but I don't think it comes down to the game, emphasizing technique and execution, obviously. So plenty of good words coming out there. I dug into a little bit of his stats, and that's where I become a little bit more concerned. So as a coach, he jumped right from playing into coaching. His playing career ended in 2015. He picked up coaching as a assistant special teams coach with the Patriots, obviously there under Belichick. Then he moved on to the Indianapolis Colts in 2018 after spending a couple of years with the Patriots. With Frank Reich, that's who hired him with the Colts. And then he went on to coach as an assistant head coach and special teams coordinator with the Cleveland Browns. So how did he do in those positions? I just looked at the Colts and I just looked at the Browns. So when he joined the Colts had the fourth best special team unit by DVOA. In 2019, that was 16th, then 10th, then 14th. Then by the time he left in 2022, that was down to 26. Now, obviously, the Colts' trajectory over that time was a little bit rough. A lot of moving parts, a lot of changing coaching staff in that. And obviously, he lasted a good amount of time, 5 seasons with that team. So there is something that they believed in him. But the talent around him wasn't necessarily responding, wasn't getting the results. So when he joined the Cleveland Browns in 2023, they were 16th in special teams DVOA. Then in 2024, they were 30th. And just last year, they were 32nd. Now, obviously, we respect what Tom Pelissero has to say about this guy. And he says he's one of the most respected guys out there. So that is good enough, I guess. Is that a good enough endorsement that we should bring this guy in? I've long said that the Rams have treated the special teams as an afterthought, and I'm not convinced that this is what will fix this unit for the team, but they have to interview guys, and there's a couple of guys on my list that I would like to see them bring into the building to perhaps answer this. So obviously John Fossil was a guy that they had early on. He has continued to be one of the best special teams coordinators in the league. Perhaps Frank Ross from the Houston Texans. Craig Ackerman with the Miami Dolphins is another name that I would throw out there. Obviously the Dolphins are going through some changes as well. Now, Brant Boyer, he works for the San Francisco 49ers right now. That's a name that I'd be interested in. 2024, San Francisco was in the cellar as well, along with the Rams. Brant Boyer was able to get that unit up into the teens, so a big improvement. And then just kind of one kind of out of left field, Iowa Hawkeyes special teams coordinator LeVar Woods. That's a guy I would keep an eye on as well. Perhaps have some of that Nate Scheelhaase type energy, bringing that from the college game. So we'll see what they decide at special teams coordinator. Perhaps they'll keep it within house, but those are just a few names outside of the building that are of interest. And obviously, with the respect that a guy like Ray Bubba Ventrone comes along with, that's definitely a guy that you want to interview. And having a succession plan for Mike LaFleur is a fantastic plan, and obviously this team should be and should always be an offensive first step type of team. So we'll see what happens over the continued cycle for the Los Angeles Rams. We will be back next time with more information. See you soon.
Hey, Ramley, thank you so much for hanging out with us and watching the Rams LAFB show. Quickly before you go, got to tell you about our friends over at Sleeper. It's the #1 sports app right now, and you've got to download it because it's got so many great features that I want to tell you about. Aside from season-long fantasy, which is the best in the business, they've also got live score trackers, in-game updates, plus the live chat where you can actually communicate with other users right on the app. But perhaps the best feature, at least that I like, is the daily fantasy feature or the live pick'em. Just pick 2 to 8 players across any sport, baseball, basketball, hockey, obviously football and our Rams. You're going to choose a player, just choose more or less. Matthew Stafford, more or less passing yards. Kyron Williams, more or less rushing yards, more or less touchdowns. 2 to 8, you can win real money. So when you go to make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code RAMSLAFB, and Sleeper's going to give you a match bonus up to $100. So you deposit $100, they're going to give you $100 free. You're now sitting at $200. You put in $10, they're going to match you 10. You're now sitting at $20. But on top of that, right now, Sleeper is offering all new user signups a $20 free entry, no deposit required. Go sign up. You're automatically invested $20 straight from Sleeper. But you can stack that offer with that match bonus offer to add more money. Just make sure to use that promo code Rams LAFB. Go check out Sleeper. Download it today. Tell them the guys at the Rams LAFB sent you. And as always, Ramley, thank you so much for making us a part of your day.